adversity, bring it. The struggle, we welcome it. Snooze on life, never that. We are Dave Regina and Mike Pirelli, and this is the No Snooze podcast. Come on.
We're back. No Snooze podcast, episode 53 from the Valenzuela Villa.
Yes. Kai Visions Productions.
Yes, we finally got the studio. Congratulations, Kai.
Yes. Big stuff.
We're back for another great episode. Dave, you look great.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Off today, President's Day, but I got a couple appointments. Life has been a little shambly this morning.
You're scrambling. You're scrambling.
Nah, you scramble, I go in shambles.
You go in shambles?
We're scrambling, shambling.
Who's one of the best scramblers in the NFL? I fashion my game.
I think Mahomes, honestly.
He is good.
In the pocket, out of the pocket, he's,
yeah,
he's a beast. Too bad he lost, though. TB12, another chip. Baby.
Yeah, we called that, too, by the way.
Yeah, we did.
What was the score?
Oh, by the way, can we talk about that? Kai Visions, you're
terrible.
Whoa. Yeah, and he said that our predictions were atrocious.
What was the final score? 31. I got 31,
you were
right?
extremely close.
No, because they only scored 9.
You were very close. We both chose Tampa Bay, but Kai said it's a high-scoring game, 50 to 40-something, and he chose the wrong team. But it's all right.
Something went wrong, though. I mean,
what?
It wasn't a normal Mahomes game or a normal Kansas City game because he did play. He balled out, but everyone was missing balls,
and there was a lot of flags. They were.
And did you count how many balls went through his receiver's hands and hit him in the chest, hit him in the face?
Yeah. Was he not getting whacked though the whole game?
Yeah,
I'm surprised he get knocked out.
He did almost get hurt
because their O-line was just atrocious.
Yep. So what was that last episode? We did the 2-part. So now we're back. Fresh Podbot update.
Yes.
Let's get into that. You want me to go first?
Yeah, I'm curious how you look good. It looks like you took a day off, I'll be honest. It doesn't look like you worked out today. Sometimes you just see your vein in your forehead. Today I don't see that.
Gotcha. Okay. So I went back, I did my body scan, and I actually went up.
Okay.
Right. So I'm coming with the honesty here. I was 12.0 on the last one. I'm 12.1 on this one.
You're going to be like, I was 17%.
No. So from 12 to 12.1, I gained 0.7 pounds of muscle, which was okay, right? But then I was upset about it because I'm like, man, after 2 weeks, I want to see the progress.
Yeah.
Come home. Obviously, my wife is she's the
keeps you grounded.
Give me something. Yeah.
She's the positivity. She's your rock.
Right. Keep it going.
She's the A side to your B side.
Keep it going.
She's the peanut butter to your jelly.
I like that.
She's the BLT to your BLT sandwich.
Thank you. Exactly. So she's the level-headed one.
Okay. I was
what I'm trying
to
say. And she said, look, I think you're getting a little ahead of yourself here because, one, you allowed yourself to cheat a little more because I was feeling good. I'm like, all right, this diet, it's pretty easy. But then I allowed a couple more cheats.
Yeah.
Got
a little complacent.
That's a good topic for today, my brother. And she said, you have so much time left. So wouldn't you rather hover around that 12% mark and then, maybe when you're 30 days from the goal? Because we still have it's February, March. We have all of February and all of March. So we have 2 full months still left.
Yeah.
Right?
The way you're saying it, though, is from someone that's at the 12% mark with someone that's floating around above the 15 mark.
Well, yeah. Well, that's what
we have is more like,
yes.
Oh, my God, we only have.
Got you. So I was taking this so seriously from the beginning. One, because I wanted to make sure that my system was working.
Yes.
For me,
you got the feedback.
It's definitely working for me. Right. But I think I have to take her perspective on it, hover around that 12. If I can get down to 11.5, maybe that'd be good. And then do a real push because I almost said to her, I said, look, I can't have dinner with you tonight because I'm going downstairs. I'm going to burn another 500 calories a night on the Peloton. Yeah. It might take that. Right. And I might when I am 30 days out, just to give you a heads up, I might hit the Pelly for another 30 minutes at night to get some extra cardio in.
I like it.
Right. But that's not a sustainable lifestyle for
me to be working out. Do you think you have the time for that, though? For the additional 30?
For 30 days, I can do that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But I can't make that a lifestyle. But for something like this, for the body update and trying to come in at the goal of 10%, that's a push I'm willing to make for 30 days. So 0.1 up in 2 weeks from 12 to 12.1. Weight stayed the same, and my muscle went up to 0.7%.
Okay. That's good.
Not 0.7%. Sorry, 0.7 pounds.
To counter Karina, and Karina, I'm sure you're listening to this because you're a great fan.
That's right.
Don't prove us wrong. I would counter that with, don't you want to get ahead of the curve? Because you don't know what March it has entailed. As we've seen, we think the next month's going to be similar to the previous, and then everything gets thrown for a loop.
That was where I was coming from. And I already told you, I didn't put it out there yet, but I'll put it out there. If I come in at 10%, 10.0, I'm going to be disappointed.
I know.
You know that.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be under 10%. Specifically, I'll just throw it out there. I want to, right? I want to be under 9%.
See how I called that out, and you were like, I'm fine with it? I know, and Karina, I love you, but I know you weren't fine with that adjustment.
No. I said. I wasn't fine with the results coming in.
Yeah.
But her perspective of it was good because
it makes sense.
I can do a 30-day push. Now, I have to decide to myself, am I going to do a 60-day push where I'm not cheating? But like this weekend, I had pizza twice because we had some company over, right? The family came over.
Yeah, you got to be,
So, I want to be as flexible as possible until I'm pinched. When I'm pinched and I know that I have to do something, then it's no problem. But I'm still a little far out to do it. So I want a balance of what you're saying and what she's saying.
So to bring it back to the food challenge, what got me was the lack of time. I waited to the end and I pushed, and I think I still had a little in the tank, but I ran out of time.
Yep.
So in the back of my head, I'm playing like, I can't run out of time. I got to stay within striking distance, and I have to keep pushing like a maniac, because once March hits, I got to be in striking distance, because March typically for the real estate world is very busy.
Yep.
And I can't lean on turning it up another notch when March hits. So I have to really push the end of February.
We really are
to get
almost
into a
there
good
now that
position.
you're saying.
Yeah, it's not very
I'm
far
actually
away.
thinking about the time.
We're halfway through February.
Yeah, you're right.
The other point being that I get what you're saying about, like, you want to have the flexibility to let your hair down with the family and be a real human around other people, not like a psycho.
Yep.
So that's why I adopted the whole fasting thing during the week, because the majority of the time in the week I don't see anyone. So for to sit with Dana while she eats is fine. Like, avoiding a dinner with her during the week doesn't change my world. If we went out to dinner and I just sat there and had a water, that
with
is
a
a little
lemon.
crazy. Yeah. So my thought was, like, if you can be perfect during the week, then weigh in on Fridays. So then you're getting that gauge.
Mm-hmm.
You give yourself like a Saturday to cheat pretty good, and then Sunday kind of get back on schedule. Then you're setting yourself up to be a normal human to everyone else, but behind closed doors, being perfect.
No, makes sense.
And so my system, I was curious if it would work, because this was the first weigh-in since the fasting, right? Technically?
Yes, since the fasting. Well, you gave us. I think you gave us one last time.
Yeah. So
but yeah, you did change. You shifted.
Adjusted a little bit, did a little more vegan options, which I'm still using some vegan products, but I am definitely realizing that I like it. But to get this goal, I think I need to stick with proteins that I'm familiar with, because it's the recipes that I can execute pretty easily.
Porterhouse steaks.
Well, I didn't really. I had a bison this weekend.
Nice.
Delicious. So I did my weigh-in. I saw my guy Manny again. Turns out he's a real estate investor.
Wow.
Young kid. I think he's 26. I don't mean to blow up your spot, Manny. Got a triplex in Waterbury. Nice. So we had a good conversation. I said, you need any help, let me know. Love to talk to you about real estate. You help me with some burning some fat, and it'll be a synergy, synergistic relationship. So I get on. He's laughing. He's like, you know how to use the machine, right? I'm like, yeah, I've been here. I think it was my 7th weigh-in.
Really?
Yeah. And I put it in. I'll post it in the show notes, but I put all my weigh-ins in an Excel doc, so you can see week over week. Yep. So my last weigh-in was 16.8%, I believe, and I weighed in at 16.1% body fat. Nothing changed other than fat dropped 2 pounds.
Great.
Nothing else changed. It was a perfect week of fasting. I did it every day. I actually ended it before my weigh-in with like a 35-hour fast. So I fasted from 10 a.m. the previous day, weighed in at about 10 a.m., and then we did a recording later in the day, and then I ate after the recording. And I broke my fast with the Tell Mike Sent You episode, which is a little dicey because you're like eating like an animal on show, like TV, like recorded eating like an animal. But it gives you balance.
It does.
It
does. Good.
So I think I'm in striking distance. See, I was really hoping for 15 because mentally.
But 6%. I mean, 6%, you got about 7 weeks left.
Yeah, it's not a lot. That's a percent a week, and it's going to get harder.
Extreme, baby.
So here's my thought. I started doing more steady state cardio, and I'm still doing like the 30-minute Peloton classes with high resistance, like you said. But now I'm doing more weights. So I'm eating more calories. So I'm bringing it up from 2,000 a day to like 2,500 to get
the 1,000-calorie kid is going up.
Well,
to
I've been at 2,000.
Okay, all right.
So I'm upping it to 2,500, and I'm trying to, instead of like 1.25% of my lean body weight, I'm trying to get to 1.5 to add more muscle.
Yep.
I need to up the muscle, so then the ratio is a little easier to get.
Gotcha.
Because my muscle building has gone stagnant.
Yep. Isn't it crazy though when your goals change, like for your body? Like before, it was just like, damn, I want to fit in these suits.
Yeah.
Right. So you're like 1,000 calories sounds good. Like I can sustain this. Now you see like how high you actually have to be sustaining the muscle.
Yeah.
And it's easier to actually convert the muscle to fat versus just losing the fat. You know,
True,
when we're lifting weights.
Yeah.
So that's why when Mike is saying, you know, and I'm calling him a 1,000-calorie kid, he's shifting from that model of just trying to fit in a suit to now with a purpose to get down to 10%.
But if you listen to our Pedro episode, I explained what I was doing. I said I'm knocking the house down, and then I'm rebuilding from scratch, which it's kind of going to plan.
Look, man, you look good.
Thank you.
Look good.
So 6%, I'm not going to lie, 6% in a month is getting me a little nervous.
Well, not a month.
Yeah, because March. So I'm considering as like, I want to get down to 15 before March, and then I think I really have a shot.
Gotcha. We're going to get there.
But I see you at 12 and how perfect you're eating, how hard you're working out. And I'm like, I need to pull every trick in the book.
But I'm not
for the
eating
last
perfect.
month.
I eat perfect. It's been extremely easy for me. The way my lifestyle works with work, Monday through Friday is easy.
Yeah.
Right? It's very simple for me. Then the weekend comes, though.
Because you're busy in the week.
Yeah, exactly. And the weekend comes, and that's my opportunity to, you know, kind of get a little crazy.
Yeah. I'm going to admit, too, I think I'm going to try a 48-hour fast, maybe more in March. I think I need to go extreme.
I'm excited
to
for the
drop
update,
leg.
so I look forward to these.
I might try to lose all my muscle for the last push to hit the
Listen,
number.
we didn't say anything about the goal being muscle, so if you just come in.
I'm going to look like the machinist or whatever the movie is.
We're going to look like Justin. That's what
Wow.
Honestly, he's way below 10%.
I want to hear CV's update, but Justin, tell Dave what your goal is.
But there's no mic on him. Put
Yeah,
a mic
he got
on
it.
him.
He got
Quick.
it. Wow, the debut of Justin.
Put a mic on him.
I committed to. Well, I'm not committed yet, but I'm gonna commit to 10 pounds in the next 2 months.
Of what? 10 pounds of what?
Gained.
Gaining 10 pounds.
Yeah.
We got to put a picture. We got to flash a picture of
Justin flexing.
I can definitely help him with a gaining of 10 pounds. I don't know if it's the right 10 pounds, but he will
CV,
gain 10 pounds.
Talk to us, kid. Welcome back. I
Yes.
love when CV gets on here.
All right, we're gonna rip the Band-Aid here. It's been 2 weeks, right, since the last reported, update.
Yep.
So it has not been great, and primarily because we've been moving, as you guys know, and for those of you that don't, we have been moving, and that has really thrown everything out of whack, crazy out of whack. We still have tried our hardest to have our meals prepped for the week, and that has been working. So we have been eating at least our breakfast and our lunch the right way. But out of the 5 days of the week, the dinners have been not the greatest. Just because we're tired, we're exhausted. When we're not at work, we're physically trying to pack things or move things. The weekends, every hour of the weekend has been dedicated to either moving or doing the show. So there hasn't really been a lot of time, even prepping, like cooking to the prep foods. That has been like a major struggle, but at least we have gotten that done. So all said and done, the eating has not been great. However, on the scale, it has reflected differently. So now,
What an intro.
this could mean that my
Maybe
muscle is dropping, or I don't know.
Maybe we're burning more calories too. With
Yeah,
the
moving.
Well,
stuff.
actually,
Yeah.
yes, because my body is sore. Every muscle is hurting right now. But I think I dropped like a pound. Not that it's a major thing,
Dropped a
but
pound?
I
That's
dropped a
amazing.
pound.
All right, so
Last episode I hadn't weighed myself. I was gonna weigh myself before I came to the show. Completely forgot. So as soon as I got back from the show, I actually weighed myself, and it was 1 pound less. So there's the update.
Progress.
So you know what's crazy? And with somebody like CV who was willing to accept the challenge of 50 pounds in the year, right? For you saying that you lost a pound in a week, it's actually great because if you just did that and you're even
2 weeks.
yeah, well,
Still,
I guess.
though.
But
And
no,
it's
you
still
said
gonna count as
a
2
pound and a
weeks.
half or a pound.
It was a pound point.
But
2, I
either
think
way,
it
and you
was
said you
1.2.
didn't even really do anything because it's not like you're back to your routine of doing anything fitness related
no,
yet.
not at all.
So imagine if you're still doing that just by you being a little health conscious, he's losing a pound. So if you were to sustain that over 52 weeks, that'd be 52 pounds.
Although I will tell you, I think
like, he's gonna do that,
the moving portion, I think I've done more exercise in the moving than I have in
that's
all
still
of 2021.
It's still a one-shot deal for the month
Right.
versus, he loves to walk. He actually has, always
Still walk
walked,
king.
but he's really got to get back to that. And when you do that and you tie that with making healthy decisions in the kitchen, now your weight loss is going to come up. But you're still on track, bro.
Do you know who Mike Dolce is?
Mikey Sweet, they call him, right?
Is his name Mikey
Well, that's
Sweet?
what Dolce means.
Dolce Diet?
No, I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know.
so it's
I've
the
never heard of
trainer for. I've mentioned it before. That was good.
So-
He's a trainer for the UFC, and his whole thing is that we're just going to eat regular, and you're going to lose weight and fat by upping your output versus limiting your input. So he's like, it's much easier for people to grasp increasing efforts. You can't outrun a bad diet, but you can start the process by upping output, which is interesting because sometimes you try to slam the diet, whereas if you just start walking for the month, you get a little momentum going, and then you go back to the diet, and you have some momentum to work with versus starting from scratch. So it's interesting.
I like that mindset.
It's interesting. He's good, that guy.
No, that's good.
recommend
I got to check him out.
Yeah.
So we are going to bring back a little portion of No Snooze that we had started some time back with recommendations.
Yes.
Right. And we are going to dive into these products a little bit deeper. And I think it's something that's cool. One, because, I always talk about this freaking water bottle. But we're going to come every week with a product, give it a review, and then we're going to link the product right in the show notes so people can actually purchase. Justin knows very well because this handy dandy water bottle over here, let me actually put the cap on so
we're going to see our
it.
skills sale, our skills in sales with this.
So,
That's why I came speak.
A lot of people have seen this in the shot on, just whether it's on the table in a No Snooze episode or it's just always with me.
We've had people inquire about this water bottle as well.
Exactly.
Multiple people.
And I always used to just say, yeah, it's sleek, right? Like it's just cool. So one, it is called Just Add Water. That's the company name.
Yeah.
But it's Watur, right? So it's an extremely Watur, right? Extremely slim water bottle, 32 ounces, right? What's good about it, though, is that it fits in the cup holder.
Yeah.
And for me, when I was carrying around my 50-ounce Essentias or the, the big bulky one that I have, you slap a No Snooze logo on it, looks good, but it doesn't fit in the cup holder. So it's just every turn is all over the place. BPA free.
What does that mean?
The like chemical BPA.
BPA is bad.
Yeah,
right?
it's terrible. Right. It's got the little time stamp on it too.
I never noticed that.
Right. For a little motivation. A good thing about this company is that they don't put the logos on it, which allows you to be flexible and creative and slap your own little No Snooze logo on it here.
Beautiful.
Right. You can get it on Amazon. Price point. Give me a price point. What do you think it is? What does it look like?
That looks like a $99 water
right?
bottle.
And you can get this for only $20.
No.
Yeah, I swear.
Are you?
I swear. And you know what's funny? That kind of sounds like we're going to make money on this thing, and we're not.
That's the goal.
We're just being honest, though.
I have to be honest. That bottle looks like I would if I was a water bottle. Lean,
just long and lean,
sleek. You know what I mean? If I stand with my arms on my side, I look like that.
I get it. I guess. Whereas the other one that I had, that was me, right?
Yeah, you're the Essentia bottle where it doesn't really fit.
Just big.
It doesn't really fit places.
Just a big chub.
It's kind of rolling around.
Wow. Okay.
I have a fun fact.
have?
I have a fun fact.
What?
You asked for BPA.
Yes.
I got you.
Oh, thank you.
Intern wasn't
At least
on this
someone's
thing. I got
Googling.
you.
Yep. Good.
This is going to be a tough one.
What is BPA?
Bisphenol A. It's an industrial chemical that has been used to make certain plastics.
So the B is the B, the bisphenol.
Phenol starts with P.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bisphenol.
Bisphenol A.
It's one word.
Okay.
Bisphenol. But I'm assuming it's the
But
BP
seriously,
and the A.
It's a good looking bottle.
I was
I
gonna
mean-
say from a visual standpoint, like this water bottle is hot.
I don't really care about the functionality
No?
of a bottle. That's like a accent piece.
And I bought it for Karina as well in pink and slapped the No Snooze logo on it.
That's nice.
Right?
You
And
slap
they-
a no snooze on anything. Huh?
yeah. They have a red that's really cool. They got a blue that's good. Intern Justin, throw me his water bottle real quick.
Yeah, and we'll
So
go
I
to
have
the show notes
I have
with
the
it.
gold one. Look at this one. He got the black with the white No Snooze logo on it.
Very nice.
But yeah, they walk around and they make fun of me because I always have this water bottle. So now when Justin walks around, he's like, "Yo, I stole Mr. Regina's bottle," and I'm like, "Like one, you don't have to call me Mr. Regina. It's okay. I sound extremely old."
And they have an Instagram, right?
Yes, so you can follow them at Just Add Water. What I like about them is they're a small company, right? Very small company, but they're doing well. And remember, it's WATUR, and we could tag them and shout them out. But definitely go check it out.
That's the water bottle brand that Cardi B likes. Watur.
That was good. We just got that was perfect.
Cardi B, shout it. I also went with a small company. Hold on.
Hold on, Mike is maneuvering his way to. Wow, we have
I didn't even think.
dumbbells.
I brought.
Mike, just one is fine and is not on frame.
It's not on the frame.
You have to move it back a
Put
little.
them on your lap.
So yeah, no, they're pretty heavy. So I brought the Bowflex. I call them the Smart Bells. I don't know what they're actually called.
Well, you call it Smart Bell because typically these are dumbbells,
And
and
these are
this is
smart.
very smart.
Yeah. So let me get these in
And
for
it is
you.
a Smart Bell system because
talk about while I
yeah. So
model them.
yeah, no, there you go. Well, Justin, come on the screen real quick. Yeah, come on screen.
Hold that.
Come over here, right in the middle,
stand in the
Justin.
middle.
I'm gonna talk. You're like our Vanna White.
Do-
Did
Come
you
here,
give
man.
him?
Do a
Did you give him
bicep curl. There you go.
the 2 pounders? Is that
There
the
you
2
go.
pounders?
Keep going.
So the thing I love about these dumbbells, they clearly are mobile, right? You can pick them up and take them with you. When you're doing supersets, you drop them into the base and you can adjust to any weight, right?
Yep.
Beautiful.
I have a question.
Yes.
How much weight is on there right now?
That's 15 pounds. I'm actually.
He looks like he's
gas
struggling.
table.
You came over here and took your mask off. Put
Put the mask back on. So the other thing that's
He wanted everyone to see his pretty face. This guy.
yeah. What I like about these
Don't worry,
dumbbells
his head is cut off.
is the length of the dumbbell's nice because it adds more stability when you do a curl.
Yep.
You can't get close to the side with it, but it makes you kind of keep your form.
What
'cause of the
poundage
space.
is this? Because Justin is struggling over here.
He's already bulking up.
5 pounds?
What is this? What pound?
So this is 15.
Oh,
See?
that's the 15. Gotcha.
So you put them on the base, you
Yep.
turn this knob, and it connects. It goes up to 52 and a half for each dumbbell. I got 2 of them.
Yep.
They do have ones that go up to 100
I would probably get
per.
those.
They're like $1,000 though. So
yeah.
I have to say I don't know how many 20 dumbbells would be, but you're probably looking at that price anyway.
Oh yeah, at least.
So-
So a cheap dumbbell is $1 a pound. Like that's like
Yeah.
extremely cheap,
Yeah.
right? So for just 50-pound dumbbells, you're looking at $100.
And this actually fits very nice and compactly in the Pelly Nook. So we got our Peloton,
Yep.
and then we have the weights in the corner. Every morning I grab them, put them, set them up, and you get a nice workout.
How much do these run though?
These were like $350.
Okay.
I think you can probably get some knockoffs, which we don't recommend.
Yeah, the
because we're
Chinatown
Team
version?
Bowflex, but they do have a bunch of knockoffs. So if you want those, highly recommend them. The best
Get them on Delancey Street.
yeah. They fell off the truck. First, this I have to say, out of all the equipment, minus maybe the Peloton,
Yep.
these are the best thing I ever purchased.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I maybe CV can throw a picture in there too, but for people who don't know, so the rest of the weight is on the floor, and really what you do is you just put the dumbbells back in the slot and you turn the dial. You could turn the dial to change the weight.
Go ahead, Justin, pick up the whole thing.
Everything that's on Mike's lap right now in the shot that's the full dumbbell. So it doesn't matter how heavy you go. So it's a space saver.
Quick too.
Yeah, and it's extremely quick.
I love infomercials. I feel like we're on an infomercial.
No, this is cool. I'm actually learning here too because I had a bad experience with these things. I'm not gonna lie. Justin's gonna fall off camera.
Someone's back is broken.
Yeah. So one time, somebody, you know how you adjust both sides?
Yeah.
Yeah, so somebody did one side to me on the heavier ones, and I remember I had like 70 pounds on one side and then like 60 on another, and I almost got injured. So just make sure that you look and you do it properly.
These are smart bells for smart people.
I
Don't
love
be
that.
dumb with the dumbbell.
Yes, Michael.
I think we should just start branding for companies.
We should.
All right, I got to drop this. Keep
Go ahead.
the ball rolling
Yep.
while we get these off.
Go ahead.
Nope. Yeah, that's my guy. Look, he knows how to grab. Lift from the
Perfect.
legs. Just.
Perfect. So yeah, I mean we're gonna honestly bring you guys
sir.
things we use.
That form was brutal.
I
thought he was just.
Yeah.
I thought he was just gonna break his back.
Yeah, you know what I was gonna do, because I always have some on me. I don't even know if I do today. Oh, I was gonna do a cigar.
I think we do. I think we dive into a one cigar an episode because I'm not gonna bring one.
I
but
will.
I'd like to be
I
told
will.
about them.
Not today, but
Why not today?
because we just did one. So I'll keep them.
But that's not going to be
I'll
a
keep
product recommendation. That's just going to be a cigar section.
I'll keep the people waiting.
Tell
on
them
that
Dave smoked it.
one. That's I like.
What is it? That's the one you said before.
This is the Gatekeeper. This is Alec Bradley Gatekeeper.
What is that? Is it nice? What is it?
Oh,
Bold?
it's delicious. No, so
Miles?
it's a
He's baiting you. He got you too.
What?
He baited you.
He did bait me. I know he did.
Well, talk to me. I
So
wanna-
yeah, that's a robusto size, right?
Okay.
So it's about 5.5 inches. Nice ring gauge on it, but it's very flavorful. It actually rated number 7 on the top 25 cigar aficionado this year.
One of the things that Dave taught me early on with cigars that kind of blew my mind was that all of the cigars that you like come in different sizes.
Yes.
Which I didn't understand in the beginning. I
Yep.
thought you just like that cigar comes in one size.
One size.
So when you see like a certain cigar with the huge ring gauge,
Yep.
I was like, oh, that's just how they come. But they could come in long and skinnies,
They could.
which I like.
Those are Longdales,
Longdales.
right? And you have Churchills, which are long as well,
Mhm.
and Lanceros.
Okay.
Those are the skinnier ones.
And what do you, just so people know, if you get some fan mail, people
Yep.
send you some cigars to try.
Oh yes.
What do you like?
So I'm a huge Padron guy.
Okay. Yeah, I do.
Mr. P sent me a nice little bundle of Padrones there.
What size though? What gauge? Just quick for the people.
The gauge is the circumference of it,
Mhm.
right, versus the length. So
Yeah.
are you talking about the actual?
It's like a
gauge
suit,
itself?
right? You say I want this gauge, I want
Right.
this
Yeah.
length,
So that,
and then you
the
have.
Padron I like is a 52 ring gauge.
Okay, give me
Um,
like a.
So this is 50. Oh no, this is a 40. Yeah, this is 48.
Yeah,
This
so
is a
that's
48.
like an average.
That's
So when I think of
yeah.
a cigar, that's like an average.
Yeah. So the Padron that you guys had got me is a little thicker than this. But this is a good like everyday. I don't smoke every day, but I try to. But I get a couple in a week, as you know.
A couple.
A couple in a week. But I mean, honestly, with today's world with like Zoom and stuff, I need to be in a quiet place, right? So
Oh.
it happens to be my cigar lounge at times. And if I have a meeting that's at 6:00 at night and I don't have to be in the office, why can't I be in the cigar lounge?
Listen, you're not
Right?
going to have
so
any.
it's like my leisure with my professional world as well. But yeah, so maybe we'll do a little thing on cigars.
And was it a message to me or was it on Instagram? I forget where you wrote, "Some people meditate. I smoke cigars."
yeah, yeah.
Was that a post?
I just put it on my story.
I
Yeah.
think that should be like someone's slogan. That's
It's-
phenomenal.
It's the truth, man. Some people meditate. I smoke cigars.
That's good. That's
know?
a T-shirt.
I like that. So yes, maybe we'll start doing that. But I'm not selling to people on
The
that yet.
Cigar Hour with the Vanilla Gorilla.
The Vanilla Gorilla.
That was your
Now
nickname you brought. I
yes.
don't want to take credit for that. That's
No,
what you
it's-
told me.
That's good. I like it, but you have to be specific about it because you can't say like usually I say chocolate and vanilla, right? But this has to be the Vanilla Gorilla, so the rhyme goes nice together.
When did you
know?
think about that?
Honestly, I heard it somewhere.
Oh,
I'm
you
not
did?
gonna lie. Yeah, so I stole that.
It sounds like Riff Raff. Was it Riff Raff? Who was?
Is that a movie?
He's a rapper. You don't know who Riff
no,
Raff is?
No,
Wow.
I don't know. My rap game is struggling these
Okay.
days.
Anyway,
All right, shifting.
that was a great segment.
I have perspective for you now. You're not gonna like this one. I could see it already because it has to do with relationship talk.
I'm out.
I'm out. Hi, thank you. So, and I got to be careful with this one. I don't want to disclose all the information, but I'm going to disclose as many details as possible. Mike put his microphone down so he doesn't have to speak anymore. So, I know this female. She happens to be, very good friend, maybe a relative, maybe a best friend, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Right? And she started seeing this guy, and they've been talking, I want to say on and off for like a month-ish, right? And he was a very nice guy, kind of. He did the Instagram approach, slid in the DMs, introduced himself, said, hey, if there's an opportunity, maybe I could take you out for a drink or something like that. So great. This female entertains it. Couple weeks go by, everything is good, right? She then tells me that a week ago, right before Valentine's Day, he sends this random message like, hey, you know, I just got to let you know, one, I'm a little nervous as to how much I like you right now, right? And it's kind of scaring me a little bit, right? So she, at first when she read that, she was like, oh, okay, that's like a nice thing to say, you know? Then he follows up with, yeah, but like this Sunday, I don't want it to be weird talking about Valentine's Day. Like my family's not big gifters. They don't gift very well. It starts, in my opinion, it's like diarrhea of the mouth. He's like, well, my dad, he's, you know, kind of a simple man. He's quiet. He doesn't really like gifts. Mom's a little bit better, but you know, I'm just really not into it. So I'm hoping that like you're okay with like not being like a Valentine type thing. So we're talking about this. We're having this debate. And in my head, knowing who this female is, I know that it had to kind of crush her because she's just a giver, right? So she would be somebody that even if you go out to dinner with her and it's around Valentine's Day, of course she'll bring you like a chocolate or something.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be major.
Exactly. And it's not about the gifting
It's
thing.
the thought.
Give me your opinion on your approach of this gentleman.
How long have they been dating?
They haven't. It's not even official. That's the thing. It's not official. Like, give me your honest opinion of it.
I think that's red flags right off the bat.
Did he blow his load too early here? Like, what did he? I'm serious. No, really. I
don't know. I think it's overthinking it. I mean, you go out to dinner. If it happens to fall on Valentine's Day, bring a rose. You bring something minor,
right?
Some like she mentioned something that you think's funny, and you bring an item, a candy bar. It doesn't have to.
But
be
for
major.
you to set this up,
it's kind of weird.
A week in advance.
Yeah.
Prior to Valentine's Day coming, saying, "Hey, you know, we are gonna, you know, go out to dinner."
They're going to dinner.
Yeah, but the night before.
Yeah, which
was fine, right? But this female, I know her, that she loves just little gestures. Like anytime
I think
she ever
lot
comes
of
to my
all
house,
people
right?
do.
She'll show, but she'll just she's a very loving person. So she'll come with chocolates for me because she knows I like chocolates, right? Like she'll just bring something for, you know, a dessert or something. So for her, she then the debate we were having was, should she even then get him something? Because now she felt like super weirded out.
Yeah, that makes it weird.
All of the females
said,
just so you know, said, don't get him anything. And I said, you know what? I don't think you should allow this male to change who you are as an individual. And if you think that it's a gesture that you would do anyway, you should go ahead and do it. And all the chicks in the room, they were like, absolutely not. No way. We've even had Zooms going, like phone calls going. Like, is this, you know?
But just not overboard.
Say it into the mic.
You can get something, but not overboard.
Yeah,
or
no, she's not.
I would defer to the women.
This had nothing to do.
Defer to the women.
Wait, so you were saying don't do anything? No. This has nothing to do with an actual gift itself, right? Like if we're calling a gift a rose, like Mike is talking about, that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about.
It doesn't have to be cliche. Like you don't have to bring a rose.
Exactly. But she got so in her head because this dude drew up this whole thing, started saying family backgrounds and why he's not a.
But was it in conversation or was it like unanswered text messages?
Wait, what do you mean unanswered?
Okay, so it's one thing if we're having a convo.
No convo.
And I'm hitting you with layers of detail after you're responding. No. Or is it like, hey, here's my essay, read it, and then let me know your thoughts?
Pretty much like, you know, started off with like, you know, hey, you know, I know Valentine's Day is coming up type thing and we're going out to dinner and I don't want this to be weird and my family is not a good gift there. Like, you know what I mean? Like
if I'm the woman in that situation, that kind of ruins the excitement for me.
Right.
I want to know maybe he is in his head thinking this is like a nice Valentine's Day treat. Maybe there is an opportunity to maybe get a little gift.
Yep.
You know, it's kind of weird to do that. I mean, I don't know the kid. I don't know who this is, who we're talking about. But if it were me, I probably wouldn't have. That's a conversation maybe you have in person during when you're like, you know, it's the night. What are you doing for Valentine's Day tomorrow? Like, oh,
not a week
blah,
out
blah, blah.
Or a couple days out to make this chick.
But it could be he's honestly nervous because he likes her.
This is the time where you just run for the hills,
right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Did you just
tell the
breeze
friend,
on this?
run for the hills.
Personally, I want someone with confidence. And what Dana did well when we first started dating is she took it into her hands and said, we're going out, which I loved because a lot of women wouldn't say that.
Yep.
And I was
now they can't make a decision for their life, so she tricks.
Exactly. She made
she really did you well.
Well, you make
her and Karina both.
Yeah.
Mike and I will ask them, "What do you guys want to dinner?" They're like, "No, there's too many options."
Yeah. But I think, and I'd be curious. I'd be curious what the girls thought of that. But I know as if I was having that conversation with someone, it would get like weird.
Yeah.
Because
So
then it's like you're
I agree.
You're assuming that I'm taking more serious than it is when we're going out and have fun.
exactly. And
Yeah.
to me, one, if I was this dude, don't know if you're onto the podcast or not.
Yeah. What if he's like a major
It's
fan?
fine, and he could very well be. But if I were you, I would have just shut my mouth and kept. No, I'm serious. I
That's
would
an
have
aggressive way to say. I would have shut my mouth.
Not in that.
I know what you're saying.
Not in that way. Like I would have shut my mouth and went on this date. One, for sure, the individual that I am, the individual that I was raised as. Like even my dad growing up, he had me, my brother, and my sister. You know, my sister would receive gifts from my dad every Valentine's Day. My dad would give us a bear or chocolates, you know? So something like that. If I'm a dude that's dating in the world around Valentine's Day, of course I would bring some sort of acknowledgement. Doesn't have to be corny, like, hey, will you be my Valentine? I probably would be corny like that, actually. But if that was weird for him, I just would have showed up to dinner with something. Doesn't have to be anything crazy, right? But like an acknowledgement of it is where I think this dude went wrong.
I got a couple follow-up questions, right? Instagram's like the new foundation. It's basically texting. Sometimes it can be taken out of context.
Yep.
Sometimes I say something, and then you read it back, and you're like, ooh, that sounds terrible. But in my head, I said it with like a little smile,
Yep.
laughed at the end of it, but it gets taken out of context. Maybe give the kid the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it was just presented poorly. Question, did they actually end up going on a date?
Oh, they went on a date.
Okay, did he get a gift?
No.
Okay, was it a good date?
Because this female was it just to let you know, I heard a click, yeah. This female then got in her head crazy this whole time, like, is he gonna show up with something? Is he not? Is he gonna show up with something? So then she addressed it. She addressed
Which
it
I think
there.
is the way to do it. I give her credit. I
but
think
then
you
it got,
address it.
It got a little
They got more weird?
It got a little weirder. Yeah, exactly. But my real thing is when this happened, and the real question is, would you second date or run for the hills?
I did you, if you enjoy,
hills.
but if you enjoy the first date, it's like,
I don't know, dude.
it could just be an awkward start. I mean, it happens.
Yes, but they've been talking for, a while, and I just think the approach, again,
I think
nice
it's
dude,
easy
but
for
weird
us
approach,
to be.
man.
A wise man told me once second opportunities are a good thing. Second opportunity.
Absolutely.
Oh wait, I wasn't even. I was muted.
What
I was saying about the second opportunity. Somebody wise once told me we should always give second opportunity.
Absolutely, I agree.
But I'm not gonna lie, run for the hills.
yeah. In that moment, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
No, I was just gonna say I don't know the context. If she enjoyed it, go on a second date. But if you didn't enjoy it, I'm not one to waste my time.
Yeah. So I also know how this ended up because I'm going to tell you. So I don't know where it's going because it could come back around. So
Is this person gonna be mortified that you're talking about this on the
probably,
podcast?
if they
Oh,
listen,
good,
probably.
good,
So
awesome.
They go back to the apartment. My man goes downstairs to move his car for some parking. He had to move it. She texted him like, "I don't think you should come back up."
Well,
Can you laugh into the
Then what?
microphone?
Then
man?
what second date are we talking about?
Well, I don't know because she did say that she was open to she's open to discussing it further, but she said, "Yo, I was
No,
so
she's done. She's
She
done.
just said I was so in my head about this situation, and then it just kept getting weirder and weirder. So she said I didn't know what to do. He went downstairs, and I just told him I don't think you should come back upstairs.
Good move.
That was a good move. Yeah. It's a
Yeah?
good move. It's a good move.
All
I
right,
think
so-
ultimately, Valentine's is generally not a male type of a holiday. Regardless, having said that, we still got to do what we got to do. You got to do the right thing. And if you are with a lady, whether it's on a date or you're married or whatever, you have to at least acknowledge or do something nice. It's not our favorite time. I think we can. Well, maybe
I like it.
Maybe
I
think
Rex
it's fine.
different.
I get it.
But most dudes, it's not something
I
you're
love
thinking
love.
about. It's not something you're looking forward to. But when the
love
time
love.
comes, you have to do the right thing. If you can't even do this much, I think that's why I say you got to
Right.
run for the hills because it's too early for this to be like this.
Yeah.
Right.
You're setting it up for I don't know.
Yeah.
To CV's point, his first mistake was considering himself before the lady, right? Because when she,
I think
like,
you're right.
who cares if you don't give gifts? Does she like gifts?
So that's what this person responded. She had a great response, and I commend her on this one because she said, "I understand that you had your family upbringing, right? But you are your own person.
Yeah,
and
what
you
does
have
that
an
matter?
opportunity to do anything you want to do."
Yeah.
Which I thought was a great response, because this person, I know, she had her family history too. So she could have very well responded back like, "Oh my God, yeah, this uncle of mine is crazy, or this person, you know. And
I never thought about that. That's like me saying my family only eats peanut butter and jelly, so I can't go out to dinner with you.
Exactly. Exactly, though, right? And is that not bizarre?
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know.
It's just excuses.
Yeah, just move on,
Listen,
I guess.
I think, but if she comes back, what if now? Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, CV. Let me ask you this, guys. If she shows up to my house with this guy,
Then I think you, in very Dave fashion,
You gotta take off the episode off completely.
No, I just
no,
sit him
no.
down. I sit him down. I say, hey, listen.
you
man.
address it head on like you usually do everything.
I'm just gonna sit him down. I watch this, man. Put the episode
Just
on.
make them watch it
Right?
with you sitting
You're
there.
lucky you're
Can I
back.
sit there with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll sit on the other
And we're
side.
smoking Alec Bradley Gatekeeper to top it off,
That's pretty good.
right? I
Yeah.
don't know, and I know you don't like the relationship stuff.
No,
talking
no.
about
I
it,
just
but
in my head, I'm trying to think like, I'm sure I've done like worse than that by far.
I don't know, dude. This is
Here's my thing: if it doesn't match, right? Like if you are barking up the wrong tree in any situation and you're not a fit, like that might have worked with other people, you know?
that doesn't work for
Oh,
anybody.
I hate gifts too. No, I hate Valentine's Day. Blah blah blah. You know, you never know what someone's gonna
That's
react.
fine,
so.
but at the end of the day, as corny as everyone knows chocolates and a bear and flowers are, every person, even males, me, I like waking up knowing, and I don't expect it, but if my wife has a little box of dollar chocolates for me, it gives you a good feeling.
yeah. Well, it's
She happened
because
to
you've been
pair
on a
it-
diet.
She happened to pair it very well with 3 cigars, you know, so it worked. It worked out even.
It's
it
a
worked
chocolate
out
box
even,
with cigars
It
in
worked
it.
out even better.
Chocolate cigars.
But you know what I mean? Like we'd be lying. Like same thing. Everybody says happy birthday, but you say happy birthday regardless because it's the right thing to do.
Oh, there's some people that don't.
And it's wait, what?
I don't want to talk about that. but
Yeah,
there's some
that's
people
like
that
a
don't.
conspiracy thing. If it's your birthday, everybody says happy birthday to you, right? Whether you think it's corny or not, you still acknowledge that person. So Valentine's Day for somebody who's new to dating in that scene, I would expect that mutually, it doesn't have to, even as a friend thing, right? Like in first grade, we're always taught write these letters to your friend, and you know we always used to exchange little hearts and stuff like that. I felt bad because I wanted this female to receive that. And she, the way she was telling me, I knew she wasn't going to get it.
yeah.
But I actually bet against him. I bet against him.
What was the line? Can I bet with you?
No, because she said, what's your opinion on it? And I believed strongly in my heart, and I told her this, that he was going to show up with something.
Really?
And my man showed up with nothing.
Dude, yeah, you can't show up with something after you say that.
So you would have said, no, that he's not.
Yeah,
gonna.
why would you bring
My
that up
wife,
if you weren't
know
going to
what
bring
my wife
it?
said? She said, okay, don't expect anything because this dude told you straight up he's
Yeah.
not.
Guys don't play games. In that sense, guys don't
I
play
don't
games.
know.
They're
I
like,
see, I would do that. I would do that and then show up with like a bear bigger than the car.
then that
you know
would
what I mean?
but that would make the situation make sense. So you were
guess.
thinking like logically,
I
if
don't
you
know.
were
I
going to
thought
do
he-
it, that's what.
But
you
I could just see how I don't want to keep going in circles on, but she was hurt.
Yeah, I
by
can't
just
wait
the-
to hear
just
her
the
reaction
text message
after this
conversation,
comes out.
Yeah, she's gonna be pissed.
I didn't agree to this,
Yeah, it's all right, Sally.
I think you
you'll
gotta
be
look
fine.
at the
Sally.
You gotta look at the flip side, though. I mean, this is a good,
The flip
good
side.
warning sign.
That's what
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know,
If it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be.
But not
Move
for
on.
nothing. I took it even. All right, I'm gonna give
So
you.
Yeah,
You're
you took
hurt
it harder
today?
than
No,
she
no,
did. It
I
sounds
did.
like.
Well, no,
I did.
mean, it's annoying.
I did.
It's not cool.
It's
but-
not cool, right? Nice looking guy. Give him that.
means nothing. It's all about personality.
Right. I agree. And I believe he hit a little Goomba in him, Mike.
Was it?
He's a little Italian guy. I said, "What's
Like
that?"
what?
He had a vowel in his last name, huh?
Yeah, I could see Italian guy pulling that off.
Yeah. All right, it all
Being an
makes sense.
Italian,
All right,
yeah.
date him. Give him another chance.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. Run for the hills.
Yes,
And
that
if
was
I
a
have
good
to-
segment.
If I have to sit him down and show him this.
You must be terrifying to have you hovering around relationships.
Moving on, I guess.
Yes.
All right.
We wanted to take a quick second to let you guys know that we partnered with our good friends over at ORGAIN.com. We're happy to offer our listeners 30% off by entering the code NOSNOOZE30. Again, that's NOSNOOZE30 for 30% off your first order. If you're on the market for a new protein powder, nutritional shake, protein bar, or Mike's favorite, collagen peptides, ORGAIN is your one-stop shop. As all of you know, my Crohn's disease is currently in remission, and the only protein I use is from ORGAIN. My personal favorites are the chocolate peanut butter and the vanilla bean. With the code, you can try a 2-pound tub for under $20. Talk about not snoozing. Go get yours today. Now, back to the epi.
We're going to talk about complacency for this episode.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Complacency is something that I think individuals every day we battle, right? I think our routines, ironically, make us complacent. And our routines, by that specifically, I mean unstructured routines, that things we have to do every day, right? But that's why I believe in progressive routines and doing something that makes you progress every single day, right? For me, it's the hydrating in the morning, the reading the 10 pages, following up on my emails, working out, things like that, that try to make you not complacent in life. But I also believe that companies in general, from a work perspective, they control the dynamic of the employee's head with old ways of thinking, which make it harder for the employees to not become complacent. Does that make sense?
They groom complacency because if they're complacent, then they're happy and the status quo is not challenged.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah. So on a day-to-day basis, right? What do you, or not even day-to-day, but what, just in your life, what do you do to, I guess, avoid complacency?
To bring it full circle,
Yep.
one of the things I do is I try to set goals that stress me out so that you can't just do what you've been doing to get to them. For example, the weight loss, body fat challenge. It's an aggressive goal. So like I can't just do what I was typically doing to get to that point. So it forces you, so you can't be complacent. You can't take weeks off to get to that next level. So I do that with that, life in general, business.
So the goal setting thing is, so
I think it's important. If you put a big enough goal, you can't be complacent because even if you have successes, if the goal's big enough, that success doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. It's great, pat yourself on the back, but if you want to get to the level of which you're shooting for, you don't really have time to pat yourself on the back and stay there. You have to keep moving.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
And then changing things up. I mean, as we've seen, I like to. One of the things I like to think about is like you need to get. There's different levels, and to get to that next level, you have to change something because what you're doing currently is not going to result in a different result, right? Like your actions you're taking now are giving you what you're getting currently. So to get different results, you need different actions,
and you have to do that in a different way.
Correct,
because it could be the same. Like working out for us, right?
Yeah.
It could be something you do all your life.
Yeah.
But to get to 10%, like for me, I couldn't work out the same exact way I was working out and eat the same exact things. I had to kind of switch it up.
Exactly.
Right. Same thing for positions professionally.
Yes. Yeah. Right. So when I talk about like doing commercial real estate or doing things where you always talk about getting uncomfortable, being comfortable, getting uncomfortable. If you're not challenging yourself and putting different obstacles in front of yourself and being kind of a novice again in certain aspects, then you're not forced to grow. And the more you can do that, the faster you grow.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So the complacency, the biggest thing I think I do to combat it is the big goals, because by having big goals, you are forced to keep reworking what you're doing because it's not easily achievable. So I'll mention some other tricks, but
no, it makes sense. I think the easiest way when I think of complacency, though, complacency ruins progress.
Okay.
Right? Like, because it's deep, but it's simple.
Yeah.
And I like simple stuff, even though I like to, you should hear my quote at the end.
I got a nice,
book.
simple quote.
It's a book. But
10 pages.
But it ruins the progress because you get to this place in your head. And again, to those people who I think who are complacent in their careers, I don't think it's always a bad thing.
Well, there's a difference between complacency and being happy.
That's content.
But content and happiness are a little different too, right? Because
content is like I'm okay, I guess, with.
Yeah, if you're happy in what you're doing, you can still not be complacent and be happy.
Google Justin. That's his nickname, by the way.
Google Justin.
Can you Google
Hey Justin instead of Hey Siri?
Hey Justin.
That's good.
Can you Google the actual definition of complacency?
And then we got to make his voice like robotic.
I just kind of I want to hear it.
Hey,
Hey,
Dave.
Complacency
Your
means
question is,
yeah.
And then after he gives us this definition, I want to. I mean, you're
Can I hit you with the
I have a question
equation?
about this complacency thing. Though.
Yes.
Now you got me thinking. Now.
Yep.
My mic, I'm good. All right. So when you're saying, and that gives Google Justin a minute to
Yep.
do his thing. When you're talking about complacency, are you talking about in one specific thing or overall in life?
So overall in life, and complacency to me, and I know Justin's ready, but to me, complacency is different than content, because when you're complacent, you almost know that there's another level ahead of you, but you choose to stay in that below level because you're fearful
comfortable.
of any downfall or any failure during the process, any
But
fall.
what if you have many books? So if you're talking about one book, my one book in life is to be fit, right?
Right.
But I'm complacent in my book of fitness.
Mm-hmm.
However, in other books that I like, I'm not complacent, right?
Right.
So
Yep.
that's why I asked: is it are we talking about complacency as it pertains as a whole, or are we talking about complacency?
I think as a whole.
I mean, I think as a whole too,
But-
for sure.
But you can break down in different areas
Yes.
and work on different areas in different times, but you get in the habit of pushing yourself in an area and then you just replicate it in another area, you know?
Absolutely.
And equation before
Yep.
we get into that, success breeds complacency too.
Success breeds complacency. Yes.
Yeah, because if you get to like a certain level and you're just fat and happy is the
Yep.
term,
Mm-hmm.
which is a good term when you think
yeah,
about it.
Yeah, absolutely. But then you will find other things in your life that will be your downfall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just from the success.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's why you have to continue to challenge. Google Justin, what do we got?
Hey, Justin, what is the definition of?
Complacency is a feeling of smug or uncritical satisfaction with oneself or one's achievements.
Uncritical satisfaction.
So you're just satisfied?
Yeah. So
That's a weird
So
definition.
you're not critical. You're just kind of satisfied. Okay. So what? You have another one? Why don't you read that one?
Another
I
definition.
kind of want to hear it.
It says, what does complacency mean? And then self-satisfaction. Self-satisfaction, especially when accompanied by unawareness of actual dangers or deficiencies. When it comes to safety, complacency can be dangerous. And then it's also an instant of usually unaware or uninformed self-satisfaction.
I do like that.
So
Okay.
complacency is when you have a risk of digressing,
Yep.
but
Yes.
you don't realize it because you're just kind of coasting along.
I like the unaware piece too, and I think complacency does come a lot with this. And I have one of my notes here on my little paper that I was writing 6 minutes before the episode while I'm driving in traffic.
He's caused the accident,
Right.
put him in traffic.
I wrote down, after my progressive routine, for me to avoid complacency, I seek to learn new things. And I seek to learn new things because when I learn new things, right, if I'm reading a new book or something, those new things turn to new thoughts, and then the new thoughts become different actions.
Yeah.
But if I'm not learning, I'm much more likely to get complacent, because like if you came into this fitness challenge and you had the knowledge that you had, but you weren't seeking to learn new things, you wouldn't be trying the other thing. So you would eventually try something and then you'll get a little bit of results. Then the complacency kicks in because you're still doing the same good actions, but there's no new intent behind it. So eventually that progress falls off, and then you eventually stop. And that is like the perfect scenario of complacency.
Well, like fitness is interesting that you're using that as an example because there is a plateau effect, and that translates.
I think I
everything.
kind of hit that right in my own life. I think the plateau of fitness, but I always tried to do new things on a fitness level, but wasn't so specific with the measurements of it, you know? So I think I did, in a sense, become complacent. But that's why, honestly, like sometimes when I wake up, I'll wake up and say in my head, okay, today I'm going to bike 50 miles.
Yeah.
Like I do.
You put a challenge in front of yourself.
I put the challenge right in front of myself so I can seek, like internally, whether I want to or not, to obtain that new obstacle. And I try to do that in every aspect of my life. The other day, I was driving home, did not want to have a conversation with my wife. I didn't want to come home and talk about, like, you know, the problems that she had for the day, right? Because I had a terrible day and I'm like, damn, I know I need to go home and I have to like hear hers. But at the end of the day, I said, you know what? If I don't do that, that's going to be me being complacent, because I'm going to avoid it. Kind of like that definition was saying, like you avoid it and you're unaware of it. But instead I said to myself, you know what? You need to go home and you need to make sure that she has an opportunity to that I give her the same opportunity that she gave me to cry and complain about her bad day, right? So then I went home and we happened to have a great conversation. So again, that action of me taking, a couple minutes to say, you know what? Yes, I'm gonna
Self-awareness.
right. I'm gonna be aware that she had a bad day, and I need to hear about it. And then from there, it stemmed onto like a great conversation.
Yeah.
But in my initial moment, I was like, I'm not looking forward to this.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I like
babe.
that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Something I think about often is being a small fish in a big pond. I think if you put yourself in the rankings among people that are a lot farther along in their process, but in a similar industry or area, it forces you to put your successes in context, so you don't get too full of yourself, and it pushes you to say, all right, well, this went well, but how can I tweak it to try to achieve what the other and there's a fine line. We've talked about that, where sometimes you compare yourself to other people, and that's negative.
It's terrible.
Versus aspire yourself to other people, which is a positive.
Have you heard the thermostat effect of how Ed Milet speaks to?
Yeah, how it gets back to
how
a
you
certain
will
temperature.
Always, so your temperature, right? You have like a personal thermostat, and that thermostat is
Mine runs cold because I have no body fat.
is basically the people that you hang around, right? We always hear like you become the people that you hang around, which
average of 5 people or something.
So you always need to find a way to keep leveling up, and you can do that by changing the people in your circle. So when you do that and you change the people in your circle and they're much higher than you automatically begin to turn your dial, right? But you can't just hang out with Bill Gates and do nothing, right? Like you have to hang out with Bill Gates, become his friend, seek out the things that he's doing. You basically have his habits, kind of like even the three of us here, right? Like I've taken a lot of what your mindset, you've taken a lot of my mindset, vice versa. We all switch. But eventually your thermostat will always come back to what you truly believe you're worth, right? So he goes on very elaborate, but that's the
you got to raise your thermostat.
Yeah, the thermostat effect.
Yeah. We talk about it a lot, but YouTube has allowed, and any podcast has allowed you to hang out with those people. There are conversations, fireside chats there's enough content with Ed Milet where you can hang out with him every day, all day.
I call them my silent mentors. I don't know why, because they talk to me, but I don't talk back.
You don't talk back. You're the silent one.
Exactly,
You're the silent mentee.
Silent mentee.
But there's no excuse to not be able to, like, if you really love what someone built, you can literally just study them nonstop and try to replicate what they're doing on a smaller scale or in your way. So it's like there's no excuse anymore for finding a mentor. You don't need like a physical person that's local. You just find someone that their life looks like fun. It seems like they have a good family at home. They're in an industry that I want to be in. I'm just going to study with whatever the hell they did. It's like the simplest way to do it.
100%. Here's another good one too. And this, I apply it in the workplace. I apply it in my marriage for sure. And even I'll tie it back to No Snooze and be very transparent. Asking for what you want, right? A lot of people, you become complacent because you will have all these thoughts in your head, and you will not address the thoughts in your head because you're worried about how you're going to make somebody else feel. To circle back to the transparency piece, with people, I had told Mike and CV, guys, I'm feeling extremely stressed out. I need to jump on a call with you guys. What was your thoughts on that, by the way, when I first said that?
It was cryptic. No idea what you were talking about, but I was like, we'll chat on the phone.
Right. But in my head, I did have these thoughts before I sent that message. I'm like, damn, I'm going to be asking them for a little bit more in that moment, because I really, what I needed was your support to come up with something new. I felt like, we were finding our way almost in a stagnant way. Yes, we're progressing every day. But I was having this negative thing, like even behind the Instagram, trying to pull clips. I was struggling. I'm looking at the content and I'm like, damn, I sound like an idiot. I don't want to post anything, right? So I needed to hear your voices to say, no, what you got, like what we're talking about is good stuff. Yes, post it. And we came up with some really good things that ended up coming out of that conversation. But I had to sit down, and you almost have to have the uncomfortable conversation. So if there's something that you want, you have to ask for it. You said it very well. And you said it on an episode with Dana and Karina. You said, you can't get mad at me if I don't know what it is that you're mad about.
Yeah, if you didn't ask me for something specific,
Right.
you got to give me the opportunity to deliver.
Exactly.
But if you don't,
exactly
then
what you said.
you know.
But even for a raise, right?
But you should be proactive in some sense. But yes, like for a raise, yeah, go ahead.
Like for a raise, I mean, if somebody comes in my office and asks for a raise, you know, I typically will give them the raise if there's something really good behind it.
Mm-hmm.
If you just say, hey, can I have a raise? I mean, probably not. But if you sell me on it,
Well, Ramit Sethi, right?
Yep.
That financial
Yes,
guru.
financial
Have
guy,
you
right.
heard about his, like, how he tells people to go get a raise?
he's the one with the cappuccino thing, right?
Well, yeah. So he basically says if you want to raise, you go in, you have a it kind of loops in with the interview episode. Go listen if you haven't. He says if you want to raise, you go into the meeting, right? Say you're my boss, and I say to you, you know, Dave, what can we do to, you know, benefit our bottom line? Where are we lacking as a team? How can I contribute more? And you're like, okay, well, we need we need to make more income from this area. And I say to you, if I increase our income by $50,000 this year, would you give me a raise of $10,000? And if you're like, yeah, absolutely, because that 50 will cover your 10 and it's 40 or whatever.
Yep.
60, do the math.
Yeah.
He's like, you put him in a position where you show your value and you give him a scenario. And if you get to that scenario, it's black and white. It's they achieve that, you give them a raise. Versus, I think I'm worth a great deal to this company. I think I deserve an extra 10,000. Right? That doesn't. You're making it a less adversarial, and you're
Yes.
making it facts of a income. You're making it a business decision versus an emotional decision.
Whereas the first scenario, you're going out and putting the work in once you get the agreement
Yeah.
to then say, hey, I'm going to go get this 50.
Yeah.
Then you give me 10 from the 50.
Yeah. Well, I was listening to another podcast, and this other kid said, like, hey, it was a young dude, right? And he wrote, he was a copywriter. It's on Omar Alette, The Passionate Few, great podcast. He does all rags to riches stories. Mm-hmm. So the kid, I guess, goes in, he's like a knucklehead kid. And he's like, how much money do I have to make the company? How many sales do I have to do to get my private office? And the guy was like, do 100,000 in your first like 2 months and you'll get a corner office. And apparently this kid like hustled and got 100,000. He had a corner office at like 19, but it was funny because he's like, I didn't know any better. I just wanted a corner office.
And
he said, go do it. And I went and did it.
That's good.
So
That's extremely good. A couple more things on the work point, right? From an employee standpoint, I always ask for feedback to avoid complacency, right? So specifically for me, I had 2 bosses directly over me, and then we had town leadership and then county level management, right? So whenever I'm with those individuals that are above me, I ask for feedback, right? As a leader, somebody who has, you know, a team underneath them, I now am trying to work towards an initiative to avoiding complacency in their own lives. So what I'm doing is I'm setting up monthly. We have about 25 full-timers that are directly under me, and I'm setting up 1 meeting per month with each of them. So they know that I'm dedicating my time every month specifically for a one-on-one. And I'm doing it for 30 minutes, and I have a goal of it's just a catch-up. It's a 30-minute catch-up. The first one is an update. It's on, you know, how's your family, health, anything you want to kind of talk to me about. The second one is goals. I make them set monthly goals, and we measure them and we assess them. So if you come in my office on month 1 and we set a goal, then on month 2, the first thing we're going to talk about when that goals conversation comes back up is how did we do towards that goal. Then the third thing is how can I assist and make your process easier to achieve your goals?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Nice.
I hit them with that from a supervisor standpoint. What can I do? What funding can I put behind your initiative? What, you know, do you need anything from me on a leadership level that I can make your job run smoother? Then the final thing that I do is some supervision, some constructive criticism, right? To end it with something positive, like, but this is something that we need to work on. And it keeps them on their toes.
have you heard of the good news sandwich?
No.
Or the bad news sandwich?
No.
It's basically if you want to deliver like something critical or bad news, you give good news, bad news, good news.
Good news, bad news, good news, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Absolutely. But the constructive criticism, to me, I never have a problem with it. I really don't, because the way that I deliver it, I always end it with something good for them. You know, yes, out of the constructive criticism, there's something that they need to work on. But one thing I always do, even from where I sit right now, is I always ask them, what can I do better?
Mm-hmm.
Not even on to help Mike Pirelli, what can I do better? What do you think I can do better in my life?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I let you supervise me.
Has anyone thrown a curveball at you and been
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah.
listen, I don't like the way you dress. Like, get your like. Has
let me
anyone
see.
thrown like a sideways comment where you're like, what? I'm always curious about that because I don't see that a lot.
No, not the dress. The dress.
Just anything like something where you're
Trying
like,
to
that's
think.
not relevant, but yeah, I'll work on
a
it.
curveball. No,
Okay.
not in that. I'm trying to think as bizarre as you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
you
Because
know?
I've had people hit me with things that are like out of left field. When at some point you get to a level where you figure out that
have one.
people are people, and like sometimes someone's just having a bad day, and like I've been hit with like a curveball of like they said something, I'm like, what? That has nothing to do with.
So this hasn't happened specifically in the meeting, but I get it a lot. Is I eat my eggs in the morning a lot. And there's been one
don't
thing.
eat your eggs.
Yeah, there's been one.
Yeah, because they
thing.
stink.
Exactly, and they say, "Look,
Do you microwave them?
No.
Oh, okay.
I keep them hard boiled, but when
Yeah.
I pop the bag
It's
open, if
gross.
my door is open, it stinks. Right?
That's hilarious.
Dave, do you mind just not eating your eggs in the building?
Yeah,
Like, can you eat them outside?
that's a good one.
So I have gotten that, which is pretty bizarre. But just to let you know, this is a new thing that I'm doing strictly on a supervisory level with our supervisors.
Okay.
Just to try to build better leaders in them. Because honestly, at the end of the day, I for a while, and this was a thing that I was doing wrong, I wanted to be the best leader, and I was learning all these things. But I thought my uniqueness was I'm young and I know this stuff, and I didn't want to share it.
Yeah.
Whereas now I want to share everything to really better everybody else. And it could be because I'm not as young now and I have some respect on these gray hairs.
I was gonna say.
But that's a brand new thing that I'm really bringing to the table now on a bigger scale.
Yeah, I like that. Something I want to mention is that I personally am motivated by financials, right? Like, not that money's everything, but it is a point, a game. You know, when you realize that money is a game to some facet, and that's somewhat of the scorecard.
Yep.
Then you don't depend on it, but it's a way. It's something you can manipulate to motivate you, right? So something I do to not get complacent is I put myself not with my back to the wall, but in very financially stressful situations. So then I have to work my way out of it, right? So like taking on big renovations before, like I have enough, but if we do the whole thing and I don't close any deals, we're fresh out, right? Like, and this is a conversation you have with your wife. I have a family now, but being on the same page in that is important, but also knowing that like, all right, well, it's going to be a stretch, but if I do that, I'm going to figure it out. Like you build the confidence, because if you do one of those, like, you know, you do a major renovation or you buy something that's good for the business, but it is a financial stretch, then when you're going to take that next big step to do the same thing, just on a bigger scale, you're more confident, right? But I really like knowing like, wow, I have this nut I have to cover this month. Let's go out and get it. That really motivates you, where you close a deal and you're like, oh, that's great, but I got all these other months of this ahead of me. I got to cover. You know what I mean? And that could be done through getting the car. I'm not saying go broke getting stuff that's flashy, but if you want to get a car and mentally, confidence wise, it's going to help you present and be a better you, but it's an extra X a month, go make the difference and get it. But it's like, you got to commit once you get it. You can't go get that and then just relax. Yeah. You know, that's something major.
No, that's well said. I'm having an internal business debate with my wife about an expensive watch.
Okay. Let's talk about it.
Well, no, it's a very expensive watch. Something that I think is more.
Is it a watch type that I would know?
Yeah.
Can we write it off as a product endorsement?
But it's a like, you know, I'm into watches, but it's a nice big time.
Is it an
watch.
investment like the girls were telling us about bags?
Yeah. Well, so one, it is an investment. I mean, it doesn't depreciate, it appreciates, but
Okay.
I wouldn't buy it for that reason. I would buy it for myself. But really, the way that I did the math out, right? Call it $10,000 of a watch.
Yeah.
I said to myself, like, okay, what would I be okay with spending if I started like right now per day and didn't like think about it? And the number I came up with was $5. Like $5 a day. Like if I put it, how long would it take me to do it? And in the business, it's 10 years.
Yeah.
Like to get to the 10,000. But whereas I'm like, you know what? I want to buy the watch. It's just a stupid debate we're having, but I wanted to buy the watch and
pay it off.
and pay it off type thing to myself.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
which
then,
is
and then
smart.
like in 10 years I can give my wife back, hey look, here's an extra
Yeah.
that would be pretty
Yeah,
cool,
yeah.
right? Like,
well, you're kind of becoming your own bank where you're like,
Yeah.
which like life insurance, that's what a lot of people do. They save a bunch of money and then they borrow money from themselves.
Yes.
And then they pay themselves back.
Right.
So mentally, it's like you're borrowing from a bank, but you're
Yep.
the bank.
The life insurance game is crazy.
Yeah. But that I like that mental game of like you buy something and then you pay yourself back.
Right.
But it'd be really cool if you could pay yourself back from like a side hustle or something where it's not.
See, and that's the thing. I can't.
But you don't want to take time away from your main hustle, right?
Right.
It's got to be something that's complementary.
Exactly.
Even just save an extra $5. That's good. Like you get a lot of coffee.
Right. Oh yeah.
So
Oh,
you
yeah.
could, every time you do this, you're like, all right, I'll make my coffee at home.
And that's what I actually even started doing that too.
Did you?
You know, that's the opposite of
Yeah,
Ramit stuff.
but it's different because you're getting something that's even more
Right.
important or more.
And it's kind of like the suit game, right? Like you have a nice expensive suit. I know sometimes
It's
you say, yeah,
confidence.
it's expensive, but at the end of the day, if you, the amount of times you're going to wear that expensive
it's
suit,
cheap.
right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
and,
my uniform.
and the way I'm looking at it is, of course, I'm going to be in business for the next 10 years, and it would
Yeah.
only be $5 a day for 10 years. Imagine, like I have a 30-year career ahead of me.
Well, the mental
So
conversation.
really, I should be spending $30,000 on the watch.
You can. The mental conversation too becomes like, maybe I'm getting more clients or doing more business because I have this thing, just from confidence level, you know?
I don't know.
There is like an inside joke with real estate agents where it's like, you got to have a nice car, but it can't be too nice. Because if it's too nice, if your car's nicer than the people you're rolling up to,
Yep.
then it becomes like, wait,
So you gotta
we're
have three
spending
cars.
too much.
You
Yeah.
just gotta know.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
gotta know.
I don't have to run to that issue at the moment. So,
Oh man.
but it's interesting to think about this. Like some people do like, it's definitely a consideration. People see it and they're like, all right, this person's in this. They're
Yeah.
definitely,
Yep.
you just assume things, which is fine.
yeah, which is fine, but you can't. I mean,
I think here's my thought on expensive stuff. If you don't waste a lot of money and you buy things that are expensive, but you utilize them, whether it's wearing it every day, it's strategically purchased where you know it appreciates. Maybe you buy it used and it's at a certain value and you know it's going to be. I think you can enjoy a lot of nice things in life if you go about it the right way.
I agree.
You know,
I agree. And one thing that I've been making sure for a long time now, since we've got the additional house, because the finances changed tremendously, was not buying the stuff that I really didn't need.
Yeah,
Because for a
yeah.
long time, Dave Regina was buying some stuff that he didn't need.
well, that happens too because you put yourself in financial stress, which is how you grow, right? And you
I
addressed
guess.
it. You're like, all right, well, we got to do this, so I can't do that.
Yeah, no, it's a very humbling experience going from having thousands of dollars per month available
Yeah.
to then like being like, oh, okay, like let's reallocate this and try to figure this out. And it's all for the greater good, and I think you have to go through that. But
Yeah, they say that the more money you have, like it just sitting somewhere,
Yep.
it burns a hole in your pocket, and you want to use it.
Yeah.
So a big way to not do that, I think, is to allocate it certain places and already have the system in place. It's easier said than done.
Yeah,
but
so I mean, if anybody wants to contribute to a watch fund,
yeah,
throw
the
slide
watch
it.
fund, GoFundMe, go watch
Come on,
me.
you can afford $1 a month,
Yeah.
right?
A watch for watches where people watch and they donate $1.
I like that, Michael.
The other thing, one of the best things that ever happened to me was not that I was a big spender ever, but when you start out in an industry where it's sales,
Yep.
you're forced to like get into the habits of barely spending money because you're basically relying on your commissions.
Yep.
So that's been good. I don't think I've ever lost the like fear
No.
of
And you've done good too, because you for a while. I mean, you guys were practicing the homeless situation.
yeah. We were
right?
when you think about it
When
too,
Ratatouille bit you, you said, you know what?
yeah, we're out of here.
We're out of here. Let's see if we can do this.
When there is a lesson in there is like, if worst case scenario, if you are fortunate enough to have family and like you can get by with friends,
Yeah.
if you ever do, God forbid, go homeless, you'll figure it out for like a little bit of time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Yep.
that was a good peek into like, we take a lot of things for granted.
Oh yeah, no. And then just to circle back to the final thing that I have on complacency.
Yes, hit me with it.
Along that same point though is honesty.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just being able to be honest with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And if you truly don't like where you're at in your life, you have to be willing to say, I don't like where I'm at in my life, and I know that there's a lot more that's available to me. And now the only thing that's left to do though is to go do it.
Yeah.
Right. And taking the action to move forward in that direction. Because I mean, I'm guilty of it too. Like,
Do you have inner dialogue for that, or
Oh,
do you
dude.
talk to like Karina? Do you talk to
I talk to Karina.
confidant?
I talked to Karina about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. She, like I was saying, she's the teriyaki to my beef jerky or whatever you said before. Was that the reference that you made?
That's an obscure one, but yeah, that's a good one.
She's around when I get in my negative headspace.
Yeah.
You know, and when I do that, I know it's what people go through, you know, and for me, the past 7 months, specifically with the baby and that whole transition, it's been tough, you know, and my mental began to change a little bit. But after I have those conversations, sometimes I just like to bitch. I need to do it.
Yeah.
And one thing I never allow myself to do, though, is I never stop taking action. You know, like even with the No Snooze stuff, right? I'll be very transparent. I had told you guys this, but I'll share it. You know, I when I was feeling that way about the content, like, damn, you know, we're not putting out great content, and I didn't want to put something out in a post specifically because I was like, well, what if this post doesn't do good, blah, blah, blah. Whenever I felt like that, I still made sure that I went out and did actions to receive 25 new followers per day. So no matter what I do in any aspect of my life, if I'm feeling negative in one way, I still take an opposite action because eventually then it pulls through. And then when I have you guys on my back saying, yo, you know what? No, this is great. Like, let's just keep putting it out. You know, we come up with new situations and new tasks and new, give me a word.
Segments.
Yeah, and, you know, stuff like that. Exactly. I mean, we spread things out. And you said it great. You were like, dude, just... if you need to take a break from it, like, take a break. Tell me. It's not a big deal. And I get that, and I appreciate that because I need that.
Yeah.
But one, I'm not going to do that because you know how I am.
Yeah. but yeah, the honesty thing is important too. I found that when I have conversations with like people that are close to me and there's a theme that keeps coming up somewhere, even if I'm not consciously thinking about it, it's something that is weighing on me. And when it happens too many conversations in a row, I got to address it. Right. So whether that's like a stress at home, at work, whatever it is, if it keeps coming up in conversation, there's something there, even though if you don't know what it is.
I like that, Michael.
Did you ever think about that?
No, I never did.
It happens to me all the time because I find myself repeating, you know, it's probably because we have a podcast and all we do is talk, but I find myself repeating certain things. And I'm like, this is the 4th time I've had this conversation with someone. Clearly I'm at like trying to get some feedback to see what to do about this. You know,
that's smart.
So keep an eye out for the stuff that's repetitive.
That's a good takeaway for me. You know, to see what conversations in my own life are just spinning wheels.
Yeah, if you looked back in your head, did you just look back and be like, "Oh, there's
I'm
a
trying."
couple
No,
things.
yeah, honestly, that's good.
You'll find it too when you look for it.
Absolutely, and that I love things that are applicable to relationships, to your business, to your fitness, and that's something that I could look at.
Yeah, like the weights thing. Remember how I used to say I was going to do weights constantly?
Yeah.
I was like, well, I guess I really should start lifting weights.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. I think we rambled on here, and we'll move to my favorite section, Dave's Dime of the Week.
Dimes.
I'm going to, I got to read this one because it's a long one.
I think I'm going to start collecting dimes and throw them at the camera.
That would be fire,
right?
Michael.
So hold me to it next week. Accountability. I'll have a pack of dimes in my pocket.
All right. The tragedy of life is not found in failure, but complacency. Not in you doing too much, but doing too little. Not in you living above your means, but below your capacity. It's not failure, but aiming too low. That is life's greatest tragedy.
Deep stuff.
Deep stuff.
So are we up in 10 pages to 20?
Right. That was.
Is that what you're saying?
How are the dramatic pauses?
They're good.
I need
your delivery's A1.
Oh, Benjamin Mays, by the way. I know that wasn't a Reg Rules quote.
So,
in case you were wondering.
No, I thought it was a Reg Rules. Mine is a quote. I think a lot of people have said it, and I'm going to tweak it.
You're going to introduce us?
I'm going to intro it, but I'm going to tweak it very slightly.
Okay.
So this is Miguelito's mantras.
Ito, Ito, Ito.
Little Michael, that is. The most dangerous phrase in life, we've always done it this way.
Ooh. That's good, especially on a business level. That's real good. You always hear that.
Well, it's business, but it's also if you just change it to life.
I always hear that. Oh no, it's great on a big level, but I always, you know this, always hear. That's because we did it this way.
But why have we always done it this way?
And then they say, well, if it's not broke, don't
fix it. Why? It's not broken, but you could be doing it better.
Yeah. Think outside the box, Buttercup. Right.
Like a Ferrari's not broken, but you always could soup up the engine.
That's right. I'm going to buy my watch now.
Yeah, I would say buy it.
Yeah.
Get two if there's on sale.
Let's go. All right, guys. Until next time, stop snoozing
Get up, get after it.
and get that watch.
That's another Epi in the books. Go follow us on Instagram and Facebook at No Snooze Podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, No Snooze. Come on.